Ashraf Shawa for that beautiful poem. Our next speaker is Ennis from North Carolina State University, YDSA. Woo! Ennis is going to be speaking on the recent student arrests.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ennis, and I'm here to speak as a representative of the Southern Student Action Coalition, and then also for my org, the Young Democratic Socialists of America at NC State, and really for all students and community members who are outraged and disgusted by the UNC Board of Governors' decision this Thursday to strip DEI and of all of its initiatives that ensured a diverse, equitable, and inclusive learning environment at our universities. For some context, DEI programs at our universities and schools seek to uplift historically underrepresented and marginalized communities. For example, Project Uplift at UNC is an over 50-year-old summer program housed under DEI that is designed to help increase access to higher education for underrepresented groups, and it serves roughly 1,000 high school students every year. DEI was not an end-all solution or a fix to the systemic racism and discrimination of these far-right institutions, but it was at least something to acknowledge that this discrimination exists, and it gave crucial funding to staff, community centers, programs, and other things that supported marginalized communities. This past Thursday, we joined with students across North Carolina, students from UNC Chapel Hill, UNC Asheville, UNC Greensboro, of course NC State, Appalachian State, Pembroke, NC A&T, and then even high schoolers from NC SSM, to demand that the Board of Governors keep its commitment to DEI. We held a press conference where students spoke on how they had personally benefited from DEI policies, and there, students also spoke on the inextricable connection between our fight for DEI and Palestinian liberation. It is no coincidence that the university leaders who are loudest about their desire to repeal DEI are the same people who are loudest about their hatred for pro-Palestinian students.
Shame.
Last week at UNC, the UNC Board of Trustees overstepped their authority and voted to move $2.3 million of the DEI funding to the campus police budget instead. This was in a direct response to all of our anti-genocide protests. Then, this past Wednesday and Thursday, the Board of Governors took the time out of their meeting to formally, and on the record, thank the campus police. Thank them for what? Brutalizing us? Shame. They view us students as a threat rather than people who simply want to have our voices heard and taken seriously. Shouldn't we, as the people who actually go to these schools and have voting power on setting university policy, shouldn't we, as the main constituents of the UNC system, the people who actually utilize these programs, be able to acknowledge that we benefit from them? And additionally, shouldn't we, as tuition and taxpayers, have a say in where our money is spent? On April 17th, when the first UNC system anti-DEI vote took place, students were barred from entering the building, despite the fact that these meetings are supposed to be open to the public. The board only reserved 3 seats for the public. 3. The same thing happened this Thursday, as only 5 seats in the meeting room were reserved for the public. We tried to stick around in the building's lobby so that we could be as close to the meeting as possible, but university administration and police soon informed us that we had to leave as the lobby was private property. Why are they holding a public meeting on private property? Students chanted, declaring our right to be in that space, as we have been systematically excluded and disenfranchised from the decision-making process. However, police continued to intimidate and shove protesters toward the elevators and away from this public meeting. Then, after the majority of us were gone down the elevators, the police, specifically NC State Police, made the decision to violently arrest 2 black students. These arrests and the violence attached to them were entirely needless. The students were trying to get on the elevators to leave, but again, the police seized the opportunity once most of us had left to do this.
Oink, 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 oink.
The Board of Governors knew that this meeting would draw a large audience, so they should have chosen a bigger meeting room. Or, better yet, they could have listened to us and student concerns and chosen not to repeal DEI. To quote one of the arrested students, we called for diversity, equity, inclusion, but the BOG, Board of Organized Greed, aligned itself with discrimination, exclusion, and intimidation.
Shame on that.
After the arrest, students headed over to Wake County Detention Center to show support for these arrested students and await their release. However, upon our arrival, the arrival of only a few students, the Sheriff's Department then began blocking the entrance to the detention center. They informed us that there was a threat to the building and that only people with official business were going to be allowed in. They refused to let us students in, and they pressured those who were already there to leave and would not let water in. We then learned that our presence was the so-called threat to the building. One sheriff, acting under the orders of his chief, told us that the detention center was shut down to public due to the nature of the arrests, due to the fact that those who were arrested were protesting. They told us that last time our associates had made people scared and that they didn't want to have, quote, an encampment there.
Oh my God. Come on. Cowards.
This was clearly discriminatory conduct, as jail support has never been a problem before. Even after they began letting other people onto the property, they maintained a very heavy police presence watching us and pushed us away from the building entrance into the grass.
I lost faith in the police. They're afraid of students.
All of this goes to say, shame on the UNC Board of Governors, shame on UNC admin, shame on NC State Police, and shame on Wake County Detention Center.
Shame.
I don't know what exactly the future holds for DEI, but I do know that we must keep showing up and organizing to ensure our voices are heard and eventually that our demands are met.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always analyze the world with optimism, so I know that this repeal is horrible and it will have a dreadful impact upon the futures of so many students. However, I also can't help but laugh. I laugh at the UNC Board of Governors and at Joe Biden and at every politician for thinking that their dumb policies will stick or that anybody will look back on them fondly. Their moves are all predictable, as the police and capitalists always side with violence and discrimination, but our future, the people's future, is one of infinite possibility. Their arrogance will be their downfall, as we know that they are already severely outnumbered. We are not backing down, and we will continue to show up until they divest from genocide and invest in our communities. Palestine will be free because we believe that it will be.